how can we foster unity in communities, in different communities, both individually and also in a region-like kind of a setting?
For anybody to be unified, it has to start with them. So you bring in a person, he's divorcing or something, or he's having such a hard time at work, he can't relate to other people, he's about to be fired or he's whatever. Or he's so depressed that he's not in touch with himself. He's become set apart, detached, isolated, withdrawn internally. If he hasn't gone mad yet, because that leads to psychosis. So the first thing we have to do is bring cohesion within, so that you start operating as a unified whole. So we have to harmonize your body, mind, and spirit. So sometimes your mind is over there, your body is over there, your spirit is in another world. So we have to bring you in harmony with yourself. So your mind is present. It's here, it's now, it's not, you're not living in the past or in a future that doesn't have, you're present, you're here. And that is true to yourself, so that you're acting in accordance with your own spirit. Some people borrow so much knowledge, or they borrow so much values and beliefs from their family or their tribe or whatever, that they're not being true to who they are. They don't even experience who they are. You know, they don't know. So we have to now create that, so that you bring the mind and the spirit together, so that you are acting in accordance with who you are. Then your spirit has to come home. Huh? There's a lot of people who are walking dead. You're performing, but you're not home. You know? You're not, your spirit isn't within you. I don't know. You have to come home to yourself. You find, let's say people with eating disorders, they stepped out of their body a long time ago. You know, people, drug addicts, alcoholics, they're not home. You know, that's hence the filling up with all this. People fill themselves, gamblers, sex addicts, workaholics, fanatics, religious fanatics, some politicians. You know, so you have to bring your spirit home. Once you're synergized, once your body, mind, and spirit is within what we call Dennis, now you bring that out. You now start synergizing with your immediate society, which is your family. You know, your mom, your brothers, your sisters, then your workplace. You now start creating a unified correlation. You start working on your relationships. There are times you have to deal with conflict. Huh? There's a lot of, you find conflicting ideas, you find people who don't get along, you know what I mean? Because you're so in conflict. So again, it's putting mind over matter, trying to make bridges. We have to employ spiritual principles, forgiveness, grace, love. We have to employ a lot of these principles into the solution of peace. Because if I cannot forgive my brother, if I have a resentment for what he did to me, you know, when I was 5 years old, there's some people who carry so much resentment, they don't forgive. So if we don't learn to forgive, you can never have peace, because nobody is perfect and you will never act in accordance with me. You don't even know who I am or what I want to that extent. So you'll do something one day which I'll be like, Allah, that's not, yeah. So we have to learn to forgive, and we have to learn to correlate. You know, knowing that even though we're different, we are one. As a society, and as Africans, we are social human beings, very, very social. And, you know, my dad used to tell me there's no such thing as individual. You know? There's no such thing as an individual. That is a European concept. We're communal beings. So anything outside of that will cause you stress, will cause you anxiety, will cause you to feel that you don't belong. So how do I then create a community that works? I have to get along with people. I have to understand you. I have to mend whatever is not working as it happens. I don't wait till next week to tell you, last week what you said, yeah, as it happens, so that we create a synergy. So we start to synergize ourselves with our environment. An environment even being non-human, the animals, the trees, we have to have equal balance. Do you know it affects the mind? If you had lived in a forest and all the trees were cut down, it will affect your mind. It will affect the way you start to think. You will become kind of different human being. So my human beingness has to be, I have to live in my commune, for lack of a better word, in relation to other people in a way that I can accommodate them and they can accommodate me without losing myself. Because if I lose myself, then I will get resentful. I feel you're controlling me, or I feel I'm oppressed by you, then that's a whole other set of discongruent, which brings fights and wars and things like that. So I have to learn how to live with other people without losing myself, so that I contribute who I am or who I am being into the community that I'm living in. So I have to deal with other people. If my brother doesn't like me, or he doesn't like what I'm doing, or he doesn't like that I got a car from my father, how am I going to deal with that? And taking responsibility for that. So taking responsibility, each one of us, wherever we are, taking responsibility to create synergy in our own little, whether it's the two people who I know, in that community creates the matrix. And then with the matrix, you have global peace.